There's some transports. So I got only a few transports. All these destroyers, submarines, got a bag full of bombers. All the airplanes, look at all the airplanes there. You know, here's a biplane. Yeah, Japanese, German in there. There's a bunch of them. This is going to be really cool today because I tell you what, it's an impossible feat for the Japanese, for the Axis Navy, because they only get destroyers. Now, the Allies, they have 2 large battleships and a carrier full of aircraft. So, can destroyers knock out 2 huge battleships? So we're going to find out what really happens when a bunch of destroyers go up against a freaking huge battleship. Here's the destroyers. You can see there's like 13 of them here, I believe. There's 13 destroyers. I didn't have enough Japanese destroyers, so I had to add a couple of Italian. You can tell by the red and white stripe, and a couple of German ones. Now, here's the Allied force. You got the Arizona battleship and the HMS Prince of Wales. We got the Prince of Wales and Arizona. They're both really huge battleships. They're both, you know, flagships, so they're large. And then over here, by this island, we have the, what is it called? The Wasp. And it's a pretty big aircraft carrier, and it's full of airplanes. So now the Allied team does have about 15 points more than the Axis. I think this is going to be pretty fair. We're going to see what these destroyers can do, and I want to show you what a battleship looks like. We can see that the battleship, like, it's like a huge ship, and then you got this little tiny canoe next to it. So that's pretty much what they look like. I mean, this one right here is the German battleship. So these little tiny ships are going to go against one of these big suckers. I put this, it's a shower curtain. I cut it, and I like to use it in case I spill a drink. And then here's all my little markers, damage markers. Got some dice, the rule book, and I want to make sure I know the sequence of play. Very easy game to play, very easy. Take a look at all my ships here. I must be a freaking psychopath. Look, this guy's got a little airplane. I like this Japanese one because look at that flag. That's real pretty. That's nice. And then in here I got all these. There must be at least 100 ships. Here's this Italian battleship. Here's a small French aircraft carrier. Here's a big one. That's the Enterprise. So here's another one. Some big ones there. And then I got a couple of bombers here. And then you got the airplanes. 3 airplane squads, and then on the Wasp. And it only can carry 3, so I made sure it was full. We have Japanese destroyers. We got the German destroyers. And then we have some Italian destroyers. I've already rolled for initiative. This one was 4, and this is 5. And then you add the ship. This is a flag ship of 2. That would be 7. I have a feeling that the Axis will not have any chance to be first. Now, this particular area I have a bomber here. There's both a British bomber and American bomber. I'm just going to use the B-Liberator, the B-24. So this particular plane is not going to leave unless the ships are gone. If all the American ships are destroyed, I'll send this plane out and see if they can kill. Look at the detail on these. That is pretty cool. Looks like they're in water and they're ready to fire. This little island is blocking view. I'm just gonna, I could squash those in together, so pretty much they're all out of view. And same over here. This ship is kind of hidden behind the island. So we're gonna let the Axis get a little close, and then these guys, when they spot them, then they can come out and start attacking. So real quick, they moved up a little bit. They won the initiative. So he sent out a little recon, and they flew over here, and now these guys have been spotted. So now they got to think about what to do in the next turn. These guys moved here. He sent the airplanes out. They didn't really do any damage. They just strafed. That's all they can do. And the bomber didn't do anything. But when these two ships shot, this one is 4 spaces and this is also 3 spaces, the HMS totally annihilated that ship, the Mukasase. So that one is gone, out of play. And then the Arizona shot at this destroyer and it gave it 1 damage point. And now it's crippled because it only has 2 hull points, and this is damage to the hull. So it's crippled now. All right, we're going to start another round here, see what happens. I'm going to try to get them destroyers in closer and try to wipe that fleet out. We'll see what happens. The last round, 1 plane was shot down and the other 2 were aborted because their armor was equaled. So there's the shot down one. All right, so initiative phase obviously went to the Allies. They really can't move. There's no place to move off the map. So they kind of have to stay there. They're just going to try to fight it out because they're kind of cornered. You have all these ships. And they're just all over the place. So the last round also, 2 of the Japanese ships, they were back here and they shot smoke. So it blocked this. So all the view was blocked. So only 1 ship was able to get off a shot, and this one shot, that one shot. So they both shot each other, the carrier and that one. And now everybody can shoot. I don't think I'm going to shoot the smoke this time. It wouldn't do any good. Maybe it would on some of these ships, possibly. I'll have to see. But right now, they're all targets, so I can shoot a lot of dice at those 2 battleships. So this turn, the Escuri, which I have 2 of them, they both got damaged by aircraft. So they have the 1 damage. They're crippled, basically, because they have 2 hull points minus that. So if they come down to 1 hull point, they're crippled, which makes them weaker. The Germans are all okay. Japanese, the Matsu still has the 1 damage. That's all that they took. But all these ships were able to fire their torpedoes. And look what they did to these ships here. Prince of Wales got 3 damage. The Arizona's got 3 here, and then another 3. So that's beyond the hull points. It sunk. So that's gone. This one here took 1 damage, and it took 2 more damage. It only has 3, which equals this, the hull points. It sunk. So we got 2 ships that sunk. I'm going to go ahead and fire for the battleships and this one. I haven't done that yet. I wanted to do it on film. So the Wasp actually can fire up to 2 spaces, 4 dice. So they can kill one of those guys there. Let's see what happens. So you got 1, 2, 3. So 3, we'll just pick one of these. This one is the Volga. So he already has a damage right here. So 3, armor's 3. He didn't pass the vital, but he did pass the armor, which gives him another damage. which makes this one sunk. So this one's gone. So the Bulgar is gone. And okay, so the airplanes, they obviously can't do anything. So he's a goner. All this goes. That was a real shame. That's what happens when you don't have a place to land. This map does have 2 landing strips, but we're not going to use those. This one right here has some Allied forces. Again, I'm going to see if I can bomb these ships, whatever's left. Arizona hasn't shot, and nor has the Prince of Wales. So let's go ahead and do it. And the damage was occurred just this turn, so none of this damage affects the ships right this moment. So they're both going to shoot. This one shoots 11. Wait, they're 1, 2 spaces away. So Arizona's going to shoot 13 dice. So that's all of these. And he's just going to shoot one of these German ships. They're not damaged. Dang. So each 6 is 2 points. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's 5. The Z's 2, so it didn't hit the vital, which would sink it, but it does give it a damage. So he's got a damage. Now the Prince of Wales, he's going to shoot 2 spots away. Same ship, maybe a Japanese ship here. I want to see what this one is. Okay, that's the Shigur. No, wait. Sorry, it's the Tirushki. We'll get rid of that one. So he's going to shoot 13 dice. 1, 2 spaces away, so 13. In fact, the other one, oh, he did get a 6. I missed up on a dice roll for the last ship. It needed 1 more dice roll because it was 13. So it had, what do we say it was? 4, 5, 6. That would meet the vital, but it didn't surpass the vital. So we'll just, here it is. This one here is 8. It wouldn't even, it wouldn't have done it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice for the British ship. Oh, let's look. There's 3. And it gets 1 more roll, right? There was 13. So we're going to do 1 more roll here. And it didn't do anything. So just 3. And that was the Tchgur. Yeah, he gets a damage. So he's got a damage. Arizona's gone. Look at all the damage it had. It had 1 extra damage. So that's gone. And then the Prince of Wales is still damaged. It's not crippled, so it's still got full power. It's not going to happen though very soon. So we got crippled, 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 crippled. They all get half their power. They all lose some strength. Then I have the rest that are full power. Let's see what happens. I'm excited. All right, so the game is over. It's pretty much over. I want to shoot the bombers, see what they do. The battleship, the Prince of Wales, had shot at this particular ship, and normally you can only choose 1 C square. I went ahead and shot this one, destroyed it, shot this one, destroyed it, and this one I gave 1 damage. So he was able to shoot all 3 of his main guns. He's got quite a bit on there. And so these 2 are gone. He shot, unfortunately, when they shot back at this guy, this particular one or the other ship was able to damage this. Again, here's the roll. That's the roll because he was within 1 square. Gives him 3 dice. So that's 2 and that's 3. You add 3 to this, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's already beyond the hull points. The Arizona sinks. It's gone. None of these other ships were able to even get a shot off. And, you know, it would have been better if they didn't let's take a look at those bombers. I'm going to go ahead and see what do they got here. The Lance bomber. What can they do to a ship? So let's take two of these bombers. We'll say they're both the same. We'll go after this one and we'll go after this one here, okay? So the bomber has bombs 8, and they're in the same square. So we're going to go ahead and do the anti-air first. And these guys, anti-air is 5 dice. So let's go ahead and do the 5 dice. All right, so we got 2, 4. So 4. And his armor's 4, so that would repel his hit. He would be aborted. All right, he's not aborted. So let's see, 8 dice he's going to use to destroy this. Let's see what happens here. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. All right, so looking at that, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 coming down on this ship. It's the Shigur. This one. 6. He's already got 1 point of damage, so he's sunk. So he would have sunk that one. He's gone. 1 down, and this plane heads back to his air base. This particular one here, I think this is the the Z-32. It's the German ship. So it's this one right here. He's going to go ahead and do his anti-air, which is 5 dice. It's 3, 4, 5. And there's 2, 3. That's 3. Doesn't go to 4. So he's going to go ahead and drop his bombs. Just all these dice. Ooh, that's not too good. That's 2, 3, 4. 4. This ship has a 8, so he only gives 1 damage. He's still floating. He's crippled, but he's still floating. So these bombers actually would have helped out the game if I was able to use them. Although the first bomber would have been aborted. You know, destroyers are small ships, but they got a lot of power when it comes down to those torpedoes. Some of these had, like this particular one, had the Lance torpedoes, and they give a 1 extra damage when hit. So I'm over there giving 3 damage to these ships twice or 3 times. So those are pretty powerful. And I think that's what really changed this game, is those torpedoes. And there was a lot of torpedoes coming at these ships, and it just eats away at the hull, not these other armors. You can't get damaged that way. You know, in order to damage this, you have to have armor above 9. And, you know, a sub can never do that. So it just goes right to the hull points. So what we got here is basically 2, 4, 6, 8 destroyers that capitulate, that actually won. So we have 8 destroyers that are left over for the next war. So I'm going to put this away. It was fun. I actually did this scenario before, and I used the same Japanese destroyers against a bunch of battleships, and the destroyers won. This is the second time I've done a similar scenario.